Game two of round one of the Big East tournament. DePaul faces Georgetown. These teams just played against each other, Tariq. In a game where DePaul won 83 to 77. These two split the season series among each other. What are your thoughts on into this matchup?
Um, Similar to the last game, or similar to the last preview we did. I think both teams, while the the records look different, Georgetown's lost to this team twice. So I know people say you can't lose to, or it's hard to beat the same team three times. While that is true, I think DePaul goes into this with a lot of confidence, having just beat them again. Um, so they're looking at this matchup as a way to continue their season. Georgetown, you got to take advantage of the matchup and really come out and just play good basketball. I mean, a couple shots go their way, they potentially win, but they let DePaul shoot 30 or 53 from the floor and 8 or 15 from three. That's 56 and 53% respectively. And then on their end, they shot 42% and 34% from three, making 9 out of 26 threes. But they got 16 more shots, scored six less points, made one less shot. Um, so they gotta make up for the loss there. They let a lot of guys get really comfortable. Isaiah, make sure I say this right. Yeah, Isaiah Rivera scored 21, had 9 rebounds, 6 assists, made three threes. Then Layden Blocker went 7 of 11 from the floor. JJ Trainer went 4 for 7 from the floor. Um, Troy D'Amico went 4 for 4 from the floor. So all five starters for DePaul scored in double figures. CJ Gunn scored 17 on 14 shots, which isn't fantastic, but was enough to get them to win. So Georgetown, they definitely got to look at themselves in the mirror defensively and take that challenge to slow down this DePaul team. Again, this isn't a team that has won a ton of games, especially in conference play. They're 4-16 in conference play. Georgetown is 8-12. Two of DePaul's wins came against them. So um, Georgetown is going to be very disappointed if they lose this game, and it's definitely a chance considering they've already done so twice. But Georgetown, they got Micah Peavy, who averaged 17, 5, and 3. Got Jaden Epps, Malik Mack, Drew Fielder. They've got the talent, they've got the ability. They just have to do it against this team specifically.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I meant the not meant, but I said that they split the season series, but you mentioned that they didn't. DePaul is up 2-0. It is hard to beat a team three times though. I think Georgetown going into this game, um, to play with that type of urgency that they know that this team has got their number, but they got to find a way to get through that and obviously hopefully they clean up a couple things defensively when playing this team. Um as we see in the last game, they did out rebound them. Um but hmm, my fault. I'm just looking at stats here. It's just hard to see how they lost this game with a lot of things going in their way. Um, so just a matter of fixing a couple of things and seemed like it came down to shot making. Um, Georgetown shooting 42% as opposed to DePaul shooting 56% from the field. So couple things to note there. Uh, seems like DePaul's picking up steam towards the end of the season as opposed to Georgetown, where they've lost what?
They lost. They're 4-6 in their last 10. DePaul's 3-7
Yeah,
in their last 10.
and losing four out of their last five, really. So yeah, a lot to clean up there. They are favored in this game by 3.5. So I do think that that works out in their favor here, but ultimately they're just gonna have to perform.
Hmm. Yeah, I think, like you said, DePaul, while they have lost, or the 3-7 in their last 10, but they've won two straight.
Hmm.
Um, and CJ Gunn came off the bench against Providence, gave him 23 points. Um, then Rivera gave him 11. JJ Trainer gave him 21. And this is a team that's dealt with injuries. They lost both of their big men in February, NJ Benson and Davis Gogman. Um, so they've been playing shorthanded, like I said in the prior preview. A lot of these teams that have lost that are at the lower ends of the Big East have had a lot of injuries that they've had to deal with. DePaul is definitely one of those. Um, yeah, for them, it just continue to try to replicate what you've done, not only in the last two games, but in the games against Georgetown. While Georgetown should be favored based on uh, record and based on talent, I don't know if they should be favored considering they lost to them twice. But um, I think it's fair because people are probably still going to lean towards Georgetown instead of picking DePaul. But this is a game that's in New York, closer to Georgetown in terms of proximity, so their fans are more likely to travel. Um, but yeah, I'm looking at Micah Peavy here and just thinking you gotta go take the game over. I mean, he had 29 in their last game, so it's not like he didn't play well, but he's got to take the game over on both sides of the basketball and make sure they win this game. In my opinion, you don't want to end the season like that. In my like, I just feel like you losing three times to one team and they got four wins in the conference. That's just kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah, and two of those came to y'all.
I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly.
And two of them
Like
came to y'all. That's
they should be 2-16, but now they're or they should be 2-18. Sorry, they should
yeah,
be sitting with Seton Hall.
yeah,
But they aren't because y'all gave them two. I won't say y'all gave them two. They took two from y'all.
yeah,
So if you're Georgetown, just lock in, do what you're supposed to do, and go get the dub.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And I agree with that as well on your PV point that it's time. It's time to show up. Time to show out. Time to step up and be the guy that you are for your team. Um, Time to just take that initiative, especially as you know him being a senior and being a leader on his team. He has to be the one to take him to the promised land, man. At least take him past the first round against DePaul.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking Georgetown gets it done just off the strength of them losing to this team twice already and not want to lose to them a third time. Um, so yeah, that's that. I just think they come out differently than they came out in those other two games.
Yeah, it's tough just because and I don't think Georgetown's like way more talented. That's the
Yeah,
thing is I don't think they're like supremely more talented. So DePaul could definitely go and get this again. Um, I don't think I don't think Jaden Epps shoots 5 of 17 again. So I'll bet on Micah Peavy and Jaden Epps having a really good game, and I'll go with Georgetown as well. But don't I would not be surprised if CJ Gunn has a great game of his own and DePaul gets them for a third time. That's as hard as it is to lose to somebody twice, it's hard to beat somebody a third time. So both of these games, I feel like this is just a toss up at this point.
yeah,
Like
yeah. And I
you
just feel
really
like
don't
that's
know
just
what's
been
gonna
like
happen.
the theme of these first round games is just
Yeah.
the way they matched up. These games have just been on paper have seemed like toss ups, except for this next game they're about to preview. But yeah, other than that, man, Georgetown, DePaul, second game of the first round of the Big East tournament. Come back here for the recap. We'll be recapping the whole Big East tournament here on Sleepers Media.